kick in rather more kick serves, throw in more kick serves than flat ones, because they think Kuerten struggles against the high ball. The first semi-final, Henman serving. Great job, everybody. We filled it well.
15 love. Henman was unbroken against Santoro. Saved just the one break point in the second set.
And saved it with an ace.
So 5 doubles against Santoro. Generally the show averaging 3.5 a match is Henman. Kuerten will be hoping he gets a better start here than he did against Pete Sampras, because in many ways Henman and Sampras play the game in similar styles, a lot of volleying, and Kuerten was very slow in the final in Miami to get underway, and then of course came very close.
120 miles an hour, the first ace of Henman. Well, excellent first service game from Henman, not least because he got 4 out of 5 first serves in, and so often in his game revolves around that first serve percentage.
Yes, I think so. It just makes volleying that much easier. He served 60% first serves in against Santoro, which is particularly high. It was a terrific match. Now, one of the reasons you see Kuerten just testing that right hand of his, one of the reasons he would choose to receive is, firstly, some people just dislike serving first because they feel that's where they're at their most vulnerable. And also there's the thought that hopefully you may get the opposition when they're a little stiff.
Long 15.
It was rather a lame attempt by Kuerten, not a good sign, I would say. You've really got to grip the racket tightly when you make those passing shots.
Makes that one. Not a lot wrong with the approach.
15. This may be part of the Brazilians' tactic, of course. Instead of really drilling the ball, just trying to control it, and if necessary make Henman play another volley, but make him play it very low down. So just the 3 doubles against Martin in that long match. Lost his serve a couple of times, once in the first and once in the final set.
Well, not a lot wrong with that serve. Reasonable pace, 110, and terrific accuracy. Yes, makes it. And goes on a little lap of honour as well.
Well, I was mentioning the speed of Henman, also the anticipation and bringing off an exceptional shot here. Look where Henman plays this from. He's playing a backhand from close to his left leg. Such a difficult shot running forward at such speed on the run.
Break point.
And very evident, of course, that Kuerten is going to play a lot more at the net than he would normally do to steal it from Henman.
Advantage Henman.
Second ace to save the second break point.
He's averaging 9 aces a match this year, which is quite a bit up on last.
Oh, he left it and it was good.
Advantage Kuerten.
Yes, there's a slight error of judgment here by Henman, but he won't be too disturbed about it because he certainly had the opportunity to play it, and I think this is going to be a factor here. He's rushing of Kuerten. It's how he played Santoro.
So the change of tactics from Guga, spinning the serve in himself and coming in behind it.
Clever play, just 100 miles an hour. And I think those first serve factors are going to be important. His percentage is going to have to be pretty high, otherwise he's really going to have to pass well.
Yes, the sun suddenly comes out again, just at the wrong moment so far as Henman's concerned. Sun really disturbing him a little here, constantly checking it. Well, unusual for Henman not to play that backhand smash well. He's got one of the best in the game.
Yes, I think he was just a little fooled. It's a good tactic by Kuerten, not hitting the ball as hard. That'll save the fingers a little bit too. And of course looking to play the ball low to force Henman to hit up on the volley. And by hitting it slower, the chances are the volley's going to come back more slowly.
Two aces each, one double fault each. Henman leads 2-1 on serve.
Ladies and gentlemen, this reminder on a new rule in effect this year that eliminates the full changeover.
So Tim Henman has conceded just 2 points on his first 2 service games, and concentrating on his form for a moment, he looks pretty good.
A very impressive start. I think that win against Sampras will do marvels for Henman's career, frankly, because it tells him, even though Sampras has not been playing the typical Sampras game in the last 2 weeks, he's certainly been below par. Nevertheless, it's a win, and I think it just means and says to Henman that he can beat anybody. I think he's known that in the past, but he's probably just had slight doubts in recent times, because he hasn't won these finals. He hasn't, not that this is a final, this is a semi, remember, but he just hasn't been able to make the breakthrough I think that he expected and many people expected of him.
There's the plaster around the finger. It looks such an innocuous little thing, doesn't it? But who knows just how red the finger is underneath it. Munching away at the banana, so with that and the sunblock, everything suggests he's out here for the duration.
Yes.
You'll notice they're playing with US Open balls. They're Wilson balls, who supply the balls to the US Tennis Association for the US Open, and the players always like it when the warm-up tournaments use the same balls, because there are marginal differences. I mean, to a club hacker like myself, it wouldn't make a darn bit of difference, but I'm sure, Fru, you would notice the difference between one make of balls and another.
Well, I think it's almost more important than anything else.
Three aces each.
Even the tournament here used to be played in years gone by on American hard true, American clay, but it also switched because the US Open switched. Because the US Open used to be on grass and then was played for a few years on that hard true surface, and then switched to hard courts, to Decaturf, which is what this is.
30.
Just wide.
The stronger of the ground strokes of Kuerten, that backhand. I think the same could be said for Henman. Such a variety on it. He's got a very good slice.
40-50.
So much more effective second service game for Kuerten than his first, in which he had to survive the break points. Should give him a bit of confidence. And interesting there that last backhand down the line, the previous passing shots had all been going cross court.
Well, trying to take the return a little earlier. I was pointing out before the match that he stands a long way back. Gives servers the scope of swinging him or kicking. and speed. And this is where, because Kuerten's actually trying to come in a little, it puts a bit more pressure on Henman, but this is where that speed that he seems to have, and speed is very often related to confidence, also hard work, which he puts in.
Yep, caught Kuerten by surprise, but I thought that was on the line. It was a short one, deliberately short one for the angle. Now, was I right? Well, that's right. You can see the spin on it. It was indeed an ace at just 87 miles an hour.
Yes, I think Arnaud Clément takes the cake. I think he had a second serve of 83 miles an hour for an ace.
Henman.
So we continue on serve.
Henman leads by 3 games to 2.
3-2 Henman, first set. Prue, you've been talking about Henman's movement. Of course, at the end of last year, he started working with Kieran Forster as his physical trainer. There he is. And he also works with Wayne Ferreira and Tom Gullickson also on the left of your screen. And they've changed Tim's diet, they've changed his training a little bit, and certainly he seems to be moving very well.
Well, he is. I know that he's worked extremely hard, even in the off-season. With the marriage and the marriage plans and all that, he attempted after the honeymoon to really get back into shape, and I think it's reaping its rewards. But as I say, I think that it really revealed itself to me dramatically against Santoro, who's pretty quick himself, and it's very difficult to guess where Santoro is going to play shots, and yet Henman always seems to be there with plenty of time. Got to some remarkable drop shots played by Santoro, and I think it stems directly from that win against Sampras.
Tim Henman leads 3-2 in the first set, and the first thing we should say that as yet there have been no obvious signs of Gustavo Kuerten being in pain when he's played shots. He's looked down at the bandage, which is bound to rub a little bit, but so far he hasn't seemed inhibited by the blister. Best of 3 sets, 3 tiebreak sets, as indeed is the final tomorrow. Just these 2 summer hardcourt events, the Canadian and here, are best of 3-set finals. All the other Masters Series events, best of 5-set finals. Shot and a half. Henman gave him an old-fashioned look afterwards, saying, "Where did you get that one from?"
Oh, terrific coverage, and again, just forcing Kuerten to have to play his shots so rapidly, which means he doesn't have this full long swing on his shots. Really controls that backhand, swings it away, cuts inside it. Had he played it just flat and straight, Kuerten may well have had a better shot at it. Probably just an excuse to catch his breath here.
15-30.
Well, so good to see him hit such an aggressive return and move in behind it.
Yes, when you consider that it's an 81-mile-an-hour shot from Kuerten, and it's really got to be thought of as a shot because it's landing in the service block. You've got to treat it as a short ground stroke, and what would you do if you're a good volleyer with a short ground stroke? You would attack it and get in.
More break points for Henman.
Reasons he's become such a good all-round player, that he's reached finals at these Master Series events before in Miami and Montreal, is that he has this good serve.
That's a very fine smash as well, because he was way back beyond the service line.
It's a very brave smash, because Henman's actually one of the best defensive lobbers in the game. He puts it up very, very high and pretty deep. And so often, of course, players will let those bounce, which gives Henman that more time to get back to the middle of the court. Looking to play yet another kick. They both seem determined to use it. It is, of course, a very effective serve on this sort of court, which is hard and bounces up.
Fine serving to get him out of strife. And Henman's had the chances, the 4 break points, but as yet no breaks.
I keep talking Pete Sampras in connection with them. He beat Kuerten in Miami, and the win over him by Henman was such a milestone. It's Sampras' birthday today. He's 29 years old. Sure.
40
Speed out wide. And a 5th ace for Henman. Ooh, well, that's called an ace. I'm not so certain about that. Kuerten's having a look.
A little wide.
Kuerten's been having a few words with Rudy Berger, and Rudy Berger's been having a few words back about that call. Rudy's never short in coming forward with his views, and we could whisper to Gustavo, it was in.
That's right. Not a man to complain if things go against him, but if you're playing against somebody like Henman with a big serve, anybody with a big serve really, you don't want things to go their way. You want calls that are just out. You certainly don't want to be called as aces. But the fingers really don't seem to be bothering him, I would say. If it is, it's very, very slightly.
Certainly not bothering them. They're in carnival mood. Just a little adjustment of the grip.
Time.
He and Pete Sampras are perhaps the biggest fiddlers with grips. He's going to have to hurry here.
Yes, he doesn't seem to have Sampras' skill of putting it on in next to no time.
There's Kieran Vorster, the fitness trainer, as he also works with Wayne Ferreira, and nice to see Tom Gullickson, former US Davis Cup captain, former Wimbledon doubles finalist. New balls in play, 3-4. Well, as you say, there's a number of times now he really hasn't gone to hit it with power, has he?
No, and it takes some doing. It takes some real skill to be able to control this. Just a little whip, almost leaning back as he plays it. A lot of wrist in the shot. And a lovely follow through. And he too, like Henman, trying to work out the sunny side upside. Just thinking of Tom Gullickson sitting courtside watching here. I was looking through the records, and not since at least 1969, that is the years of open tennis, has there not been an American in the semi-finals here. So it's quite a rarity for an American involved in coaching not to be seeing an American on semi-finals day.
Well, using every inch of the service box there, Kuerten. Just trying to remember, he's Director of Player Development for the USTA. It's funny, because he's not blasting these passing shots, it's almost as if some rallies have been played in slow motion without us having to slow them down.
That's true. It's a sort of a contemplative, a lot of thought going out there rather than just bashing. Kuerten's fast to serve, 125, very flat, and he's mixing it up well, because he knows if he doesn't get in that Henman wants to.
Quick to take advantage of a short reply by Henman.
Henman not able to get right on top. You can see he's moving to the center instead of going forward to the ball, so it's not got much bite in it, but still a good reaction, a quick reaction from Kuerten to up the pace.
4-all then after half an hour's play. Oh, fabulous from Kuerten. Drawing Henman from side to side.
And getting a quick angle here, but look how quick Henman in turn was to get across. So the pressure was still on Kuerten, but that's his better forehand, this into-out forehand. Far more effective in hitting winners there than hitting a pure cross-court forehand.
First time Kuerten's won the opening point of a Henman service game.
We're playing the first volley and then closing in on the net. I wonder whether the thought goes through Kuerten's mind here, whether he should have lobbed. But difficult to control those hard hit shots when you're lobbing. Well, he's seeing a lot of backhands, and he won't object because this is his strongest shot. That's an unusual return by Kuerten. He doesn't normally have as good a blocked return.
Five already. Of course, that's his stronger wing. Henman may have to come into the forehand a little bit more. Well, called a net, so obviously the device bleeps, but it was amazing how far out Kuerten was playing that. He was what?
It is. I called it because I heard a net.
Yes, it dropped very short, didn't it? It was just hit at 78 miles an hour and just crept over the net, which of course meant that it had greater angle. Now, does he repeat it? Of course, he's given the game away.
Yes, he's hooked it round, and again the speed up to the ball.
Well, I suppose I should really criticise the drop volley of Kuerten. It wasn't a good one. He's got to expect Henman's speed to be there all the time, particularly on a big point like that.
So now the first break point for Guga.
30-40.
Really a good stretch, holding the wrist very firmly there, and of course these players love to play the drive volleys, just giving Henman that less time. And it's not often Henman is comprehensively beaten. He's got such good hands.
Deuce.
Well, we mentioned he faced one break point against Santoro yesterday, saved that with an ace.
He's always had a very good capacity for delivering the goods at crucial times. I remember when he first made a huge name for himself at Wimbledon, beating Kafalnikov, who was then the reigning French champion, saved match points and won. He had that ability.
Advantage Henman.
Good technique on that volley, and Henman comes through his first real test and leads 5-4.
Henman leads by 5 games to 4.
When you've got that ball coming at you low with no pace, that's a real test of technique, isn't it, on the volley?
You've really got to have firmness on the volley. You've got to have the racket head up, and you've got to have that real feel to be able to generate just enough speed. But of course, because you're attempting a stop volley, you don't want too much speed. Henman's got the shot down to a fine art, but we've seen Kuerten play 2 in this game, and they've both been pretty costly, particularly the one at 15-30. Good approach. He's got Henman on the stretch. Henman knows he's coming in. He's seen him out of the corner of his eye. And I think Kuerten is just trying to commit to the stop volley a little too far back, perhaps. If he could just have inched in a little closer and then try to play it, he maybe might have been more successful.
That was the little stop volley that Gustavo Kuerten attempted at the end of that previous game, still fiddling with the grip, but maybe he's fiddling the grip because that avoids fiddling with the plaster over the blister. Who knows? But I think we've got to assume he is out here for the duration. Oh, and having redone the grip, he's getting rid of that racket anyway.
He's having it ready just in case. It's a lovely day. It's not nearly as humid as it can be, and I imagine a lot more humid in Florianópolis, where Passos and Kuerten come from. A little island in Brazil, where Kuerten does a lot of his surfing, which he loves so much.
Henman leads 5-4. Both men have had break points, and neither has broken.
Some movement behind Kuerten. I think it's reached the time really when players ought to be able to just play through all of this. A fly moves and they stop. Well, we were much the same.
Oh dear, oh dear.
That was very limp. It was like toothpaste coming out of a tube, wasn't it? I think he's been undermined by those 2 poor volleys in the previous game.
Wonder whether that will put him off coming into the net. It will be advantageous to Henman if it did. Henman looking at that one, but I had that on the line. So 4 aces now from Kuerten.
One of those lucky net calls because it was missing but for the net cord. I thought he was shaping up to play that down the line. I wonder if it was a change of mind.
Surprised that Henman's coming in constantly to the backhand.
It's the more natural shot play, and I suppose given the fact that he's probably doing all right means that he's not changing. But I think the most effective shot, if he can do it at times, will be to slice, as Edberg used to do, slice to the forehand and come in. You think of Sampras chipping and coming in, he does the same. You just play that ball to your side, and it's natural just to hit across it a little bit and come into the right-hander's backhand. It takes quite a bit more skill. Both of them have it, particularly Henman, who's got a much crisper and better slice than Sampras.
Still got an excellent first serve percentage, Henman, 64%, and he's winning 83% of the points behind that first serve.
That is so good, because this year he's averaging 54% first serves in, marginally up, and he's 53 of last year.
Well, the net crew just took all the pace off the ball, and Kuerten had so much time.
It's a lovely shot to watch, the backhand of Kuerten, isn't it? Because it's so much more textbook than his forehand. It was far more individualistic. And of course, backhands tend to have to be very much more correct, because you're looking for that extra speed when really it shouldn't be there. Well, he's seen a couple of good backhands. Does he persist? Does he look for the kicker? And does he slide one down the forehand side?
Well, he changed to the forehand, and it came back with interest, and now 2 break points for Kuerten.
Just beaten by the extra bit of power, 125.
Oh, that's a magnificent little half volley. Went for the kicker, but Kuerten got it down at him.
Brilliant point, and a really good example of the terrific dexterity of Henman. Meant every second, every inch of the shot. Knew that because he dragged Kuerten out wide, he just had to play it short, but it's easier to say that and do it on this sort of shot. 9 out of 10 players would have missed that. Missed the shortness of it.
Well, Henman thinks that might have been wide.
Right on the line, I thought.
Let's have a look at it. Yep, just on the outside of it. A 3rd break point.
calling for the towel, I think. Just serving that one a little more directly up the body.
Well, you can see they've both had their chances. But in fairness, the servers have played the break points really well. There hasn't been one where you thought, oh, what a chance missed. It was Henman's 8th ace, double the number of Kuerten. Both have served one double. Huge hold for Henman from 1540. And now Kuerten will try to take us to the tiebreak. Well, it's been a really competitive and fascinating set. And it's the sort of matchup you look for. One man who loves to press forward and the other who's most at home at the baseline.
That's right, and I think too, because they're both so skilled in so many departments of the game, that each of them is having to play the alternate role as well. In other words, Henman is having to play a certain amount of tennis from the back of the court, is having to play good approach shots in order to make his bowling a little easier. And the same applies to Kuerten, who loves it more at the back of the court, but he's also showing skill at the net, apart from those attempted stop volleys.
These are just examples of the dexterity of Tim Henman at the net.
And you can see the way he's always inching his way forward, trying to get in a little closer to the net, which is one of Kuerten's failings.
Just looking at some of the Henman skills, and that in particular. Remember, that was on a break point. That was an outstanding shot. So both doing equally well at the net, although Henman, of course, going there so much more. But it really is such a well-balanced match. And it's a lovely stadium, this. And lovely to see it virtually full to capacity. One or two, I notice, of the sponsors' boxes have a few seats, obviously. Decided, well, no Americans in the semi-final for the first time since Open tennis began in '68, but everybody else is here. 5-6.
Very tight net here, so consequently that ball really rebounding. Have a look at David Felgate, who was a pretty useful British player. Would have been, what, amongst the top 20, top 30 maybe?
In Britain?
In Britain?
Oh, higher than that, probably top 10 in Britain.
Right.
Classical play from Kuerten. Yes, I would have said David probably got into about 250 in the world, something like that. And sadly, we don't have that strength and depth. Kuerten looking for his first love service game. Henman's had one.
That first serve.
One or two of the people trying to boo Rudy Berger. Not his fault if the ball clips the net.
Wouldn't be the first time he got booed, would it? He got booed off the court in Toronto.
Yes, and the Wayne Ferreira semi-final. Oh, unlucky! That had the crowd on its feet.
Well, it would have served the real purpose of winning himself a few friends here, Henman, but really this was a miraculous get.
6 games all. Tie break.
So we reach the tie break. Have a look at their tie break records. Henman's by far the better.
Kuerten, of course, winning a very important one against Todd Martin yesterday. Not sure whether it's of any interest, but I'll give it nevertheless. Last year, Kuerten trailed in tiebreakers. End of the year, 10-14. Henman, too, surprisingly, was behind. He lost a lot of important tiebreakers, Henman. 18-1, 21 lost.
Ace number 5.
I suppose if you had to ask Kuerten which is the most important tiebreaker, he's won this year. He'd point out to that 4th set tiebreaker in the French, dramatic set against Magnus Norman in the final, when he of course won his 2nd French Open.
Tim Henman pointing out to the ball girl where there was a loose ball. She's scooped it up now. Going for the big kicker again, but got that one horribly wrong. Oh dear. 2nd double. And always when somebody does get the first serve horribly wrong, you think, double fault time.
Yes, exactly. You don't want to say it.
So close.
Interesting that Kuerten was looking to get in behind the return of serve, almost doing a Henman or a Sampras, but then got caught a little bit in mid-court. But I think importantly it was to the forehand that Henman happened to play.
Ooh, that's an overrule.
Very close.
Now, was it a good overrule? It was. Rudy Berger really sharp today. And that's out, and the mini breakers recovered. They'll change ends at 3-all. The bad news for Henman, though, is he's going to the sunny end in terms of serving.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if that last point, the tactic, is going to be one of the key elements here in this tiebreaker, just how Kuerten plays that backhand pass. He normally rises to the test, of course. You don't win majors if you don't.
Both men taking their time. Kuerten, you see he's looking for a mark on the court where that serve was. Didn't seem to say anything to Rudy Berger as he wandered past. Often an aside is muttered.
Don't be rude to Rudy.
So Henman wins both points against the Kuerten serve. And now he's up the mini break.
Kuerten's still shaking his head, and I'm sure it's not about the backhand miss, it's still about the serve.
Now the problems of being down the sunny end.
Well into the body and really finishing it off well. Didn't hesitate at all. Made up his mind, went for it.
So much time to make the pass. He's still muttering on about the call, you know.
5-4, Henman.
But he's drawn level.
Well, at least he's controlling his ire here. And again, this is the essence of this breaker, isn't it? It's the Henman volley and the Kuerten backhand pass.
2 points each against the serve. 4-5. Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Nothing you can do about that.
Well, there's a while where Kuerten's forehand cross-court really was a gimme. You could play the shot and just know that you win the point, but it's much improved this year. I was saying this is a man who can rise to the occasion well. That was something else.
No, it's long.
6-5, Henman.
And Henman has a set point on his own serve. Oh dear, it's funny. I remembered back to the quarterfinal in Miami. Final set, tie break, match point rather than set point against Agassi. Double fault.
Yes, 5-3 you had in that, and 4 match points.
Just a third double. But what a crucial one. And 2 double faults in the tie-break now from Henman.
And you can't say that's coincidence. It obviously just gets to him a little.
Seven, 6, Henman.
Second set point, but of course this one on the Kuerten serve. Ooh, that was a chance.
Didn't quite complete the stroke. Perhaps the more obvious shot was cross court, but that was what Kuerten was covering.
Kuerten.
And now it's set point against Henman.
You'd certainly be expecting a backhand, wouldn't you? It's just a matter of whether it's hard or it's the kicker. You've got to be alive to the short one there.
Interesting there, Guga looking at Henman, Tim just putting his fingers up to say you just missed, and Kuerten saying fair enough. Good sportsmanship. Two nice guys out there. 8-all. 2 set points Henman, 1 for Kuerten. The classic serve and volley point.
And that's where Kuerten, standing as far back as he does, just makes this a real possibility for Henman to volley into open court.
Time to change ends again.
Well, certainly played the cross-court forehand impressively, remembering that that's the shot he just missed on set point. And the sun seemingly not a factor on the smash. Brave, but you've got to be brave.
You have it, you have it. You have it.
Just putting in a stringerling, a string saver. Nine all.
Kuerten's fastest serve of the match, which equals Henman's at 128. Really is serving well.
And his first serve percentage has crept up as the set has gone on. It was in the 40s, it's now at 55. Henman's has come down a little, it's now at 59. It was up in the 60s. Second set point to Kuerten.
It's a good tactic against somebody with sort of tentacle arms, long arms, serving right at the body.
Always something special, I think, about a tie break that goes beyond the 10-all mark. We don't get many of them. So Kuerten facing set point for the third time.
First serve.
Well, it's superb serving in the tiebreak from Gustavo.
It just gives him another dimension, makes him that much more complete.
Kuerten.
Winning 87% of points when the first serve goes in.
His third set point. Three double faults from Henman in the tiebreak. That's the decisive factor. And Kuerten has the first set. 13-11 in the breakup. So Kuerten actually won 2 fewer points in that set, 50-52, but those double faults will come back to haunt Henman if he loses the match.
Yes, well, like you, I was certainly thinking back to that Miami score. Just didn't want to mention it because you don't want to put a curse on, particularly with so many English folk in our truck and directorship down below. But it's undoubtedly a real handicap to Henman, and somehow he's got to overcome fears like that, because it can only be fear, just not too sure of himself. Whereas Kuerten, on the other hand, was able to raise his game. Where I had Henman ahead on points in the set itself, it was certainly Kuerten who was able to overcome in the tiebreak.
Thank you for your support for the Finnish Masters here in Cincinnati.
That set lasted 68 minutes. Let's have a look at the statistics for what was a fascinating first set. Equal first serve percentages in the end, and at one stage Henman was way up, Kuerten way down, and those double faults. And more winners from Kuerten, but as you say, they both had the same number of break points. Kuerten, so much more positive it looked in the tiebreak.
Yes, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. It was a pretty even-Steven set up until then, although I thought Henman, because he'd had the edge early on in the match when he had those break points, failed to take them. That a key in the first service game of Kuerten, when we weren't too sure about his finger. Who knows, maybe he wasn't either.
No, it's funny how quickly we've forgotten all about the finger, haven't we? I don't think that's a factor at all. So quite a few people after that long set are just going to get a bit of a refreshment. It's not a humid day, certainly not by Cincinnati standards, but it is a hot one. And certainly a day for taking on board lots of liquid, whether you're a player or a spectator.
Thank you.
Second set then, Kuerten to serve.
Thank you.
Well, really weighed it nicely. Perhaps just a little short on the approach here, but lovely bit of timing by Henman. complaining perhaps about movement behind Kuerten. A lot of people fanning themselves.
Yes. It was a deliberate short ball from Henman, but Kuerten has the ideal riposte to that.
It's a tactic that Henman employs, and particularly successfully against people like Agassi. But Kuerten seemed to be onto it. First time Henman's used it, because he's been looking to force.
Second double fault from Gustavo.
He was just practicing prior to the match with Coach Passos, who, because he doesn't have the strength and serve, he stands well inside, almost near the service line when he's serving, just to try and duplicate Henman's sort of speed.
Lazy, didn't move up to the ball. Possibly still thinking about what might have been in that first set.
Well, the level of play has certainly gone off, and particularly on the Kuerten serve. He got the first point, the first serve in, but otherwise he's missed every first serve. And when you think of the fine point that the tiebreaker was, where he was really able to raise his game and hit in big serves at big speeds, this is an opportunity for Henman after the pressures of the tiebreak. Still movement bothering Henman. Seems to be a cameraman.
I just think he's a little irritable, having lost the first set. Kuerten comes up with his sixth ace. Hold serve at the start of the second set.
Yes, you were saying perhaps Henman just thinking back. He never strikes me as the sort of person to dwell on incidents, to dwell on tiebreakers, because so often he is able to shrug it off and play some good tennis thereafter. On the other hand, when he played a big match like that against Agassi in Miami, a Master Series event, and now he's lost another one, it must surely linger just a little longer.
Oh, dear, oh dear. And at the moment, the cutting edge of Henman's game really has gone. That's on the line.
Well, he tried an important lob, didn't he? I think it may even have been on break point on the Henman serve in the last set, and overhit it. And here he's learned from his mistakes. He's just reined it in a little bit.
15-30.
It's funny, I thought I had a net.
So did I, yes.
But neither player is querying it.
No, and it actually jarred the power of the serve, and the way Kuerten played it just jarred his hand.
So Henman serving himself out of trouble for the moment. Love 30 to 40-30.
Henman.
Yeah, good serving, just when he needed it.
1 game.
And that sort of fight back, mini fight back there from Love 30 just sends a signal to the opponent that if he thought he was going to win this match easily, he's in for a bit of a dogfight.
Well, now for the first time looking down at the finger, but I mean, to see a poor backhand like that from Kuerten really does take you by surprise.
Yes. Yes, he certainly jolted them on those serves, jolted the fingers. Shortage of balls down this end, and he wants them from a specific corner. Talking to a lady in a car driving me over here the other day, and she said she had a family, and she gave me the age of the boys, and she said they've got a 14, a 12 and a 9. They all play tennis. I said, well, I bet you the 9-year-old's the best. And she said, well, yes, he is. He's got the... Why do you say that? And I said, well, usually it's the younger sons who have to compete with their older brothers, and Henman's got 2 older brothers.
Oh, yes, that's a clever return.
Have a great deal of kick on it because it's not dragging Henman beyond the tram line. It just came through straight, a topspin rather than a real twister.
We were trying to remember yesterday why it's called the American twist.
I think because they used it so much in the early days. And even somebody like Vic Seixas, who was a Wimbledon and US Open winner, I believe, won the US, but certainly won Wimbledon in the 1950s, used it a lot, and he would make it really, like in cricketing terms, it would be an off break, really bounce and then whip out to the receiver's left. And then it also became called a top spinner, but of course a top spinner actually goes straight through.
And that was more of that twister. Still we await the first break of serve of this match. Kuerten by a set and 2-1. That was just wondering whether he might call for the trainer to redo the bandage, because for the first time we've noticed him looking at the finger after being jarred by that Henman serve, but what's he looking for now?
Yes, that's for you. No. I asked to call him.
Well, he's asking for something. Yeah, he's asking for the trainer.
Finger again? Finger? Yes, it's went out.
Here comes Doug Spreen for the finger. Probably needs it. The bandage being changed.
Good anticipation of yours there, Mercer. He'd obviously indicated to umpire Berger, and umpire Berger had misinterpreted, because he was saying, where is Doug Spreen? I always think you ought to be Doug Sprain and not Spreen.
Fix it good on the next change. Yeah. That doesn't stay. I'll check with you.
More treatment for Gustavo Kuerten's blistered finger.
Yeah.
Looks as if he's just putting another layer of the bandage on rather than taking the bandage off.
Well, of course, the problem is you do take it off and it tends to stick, and they just pull away a little bit of extra skin with it.
New box for them.
So no injury timeout. New balls are out. And it will be Henman to have first use of them.
Love.
Well, it certainly was wide of him, and I thought it was too wide. But miraculously sprinting and straining across, surprising Kuerten, no doubt.
40 love.
So you just can't afford, of course, to relent at all, because for somebody as hungry as Henman, he's going to take advantage.
Oh. $40-15.
Fourth double fault. I beg your pardon, a fifth. Of course, there were three in the tiebreak. I missed the last one.
In game, Henman.
10th ace.
2 games sold.
Yes, I was talking about the pitch at which you have to play in order to win many of these sort of matches. You just can't give an inch, and it's one of the reasons why people like Sampras now, who's done so much in the game, who find it difficult match in and match out just to remain at a very, very high level.
At anything other than the majors, where obviously Sampras' career now is all about winning more majors. Henman guilty of dropping the ball a little short in some of these rallies now.
Yes, Kuerten, a warrior cricketer, could certainly have hooked this one with plenty of time to spare. Kuerten about cricket? And he says, yes, they go chirp, chirp in the night. I'm thinking of that. I heard the cicadas here yesterday in South Africa. They call them Christmas beetles out in the summer.
You think that was a deliberately shorter approach?
I wasn't sure.
That's why I asked you, because I wasn't either.
What I do know is that Kuerten's gone off the boil in the serve. He hasn't made one in this game, first serve.
Well, now that is the perfect approach to the forehand. And Henman, just as he did in the first set, has the first break points in the second.
Well, isn't it amazing? Not a first serve. He's in a bit of a pickle, and he produces.
Well, sooner or later, surely one of these men is going to take a chance. Henman breaks and gets away with a nothing approach. Just bluff and bluster.
Henman leads by 3 games to 2.
Play the Magic game sponsored by Mercedes-Benz and
Interesting
Mercedes-Benz of Cincinnati.
there, as he went round the net, Gustavo just clipped the net with his hand and knocked a bit off the top of it.
Oh, should have stopped before. Why I did this shit?
Well, he obviously lost his intensity in that game. I used to assume, I thought it was just the fact that it was a heavy tiebreaker.
If I stop before, I don't lose this fucking game.
Maybe this is getting to him a bit more than we think.
Now, I don't know who that gentleman is leaning over behind Gustavo Kuerten. Now, let's have a look at that incident. Could that be the doctor, possibly the tournament doctor? Now, you just watch his right hand there. And he knocked something off the net, didn't he? Just off the top of the post.
Yeah, it's a little plate that they have right on the very top of the post.
Well, there's the problem. Putting on anaesthetic ointment, which numbs the finger, and I can only assume, since he's there assisting Doug Spreen, that that is the tournament doctor.
We're good. We're done.
It is the tournament doctor, we understand, and who's also assisting in the locker room as well. So, now then, so essential for Henman when Kuerten is worrying about the finger. It's become a factor for the first time that Henman backs up the break and gives Kuerten rather more to worry about.
Certainly the way to add salt to the wound.
I don't know, Phil. I think he should be going for body serves to jar the finger a little bit more. But I'm obviously more of a sadist than you are.
Yes, I think this is jarring the mind.
Oh. Well, can he come up with the perfect serving game?
We saw one from the birthday boy Sampras in Toronto against Sargisian, 4 races.
Pity. Not the perfect serving game. A 55-second game though, and consolidates the break with what, his second love service game for?
It is.
None so far for Kuerten.
And the constant pressure which Henman is now applying will of course get to Kuerten, just make that finger feel a little worse, I'm sure.
Well, wonderful stroke play again from both of them, and tremendous movement from Henman.
That's terrific, isn't it?
And yet it's still not good enough. Ace number 7. What was he doing there, Henman? A total loss of concentration. The whole point, well, he only had to push it over.
Yes, he thought he'd won it.
Game Kuerten. Henman leads by 4 games to 3.
So Kuerten stops the run of games against him, but Henman leads 4-3. More treatment for Gustavo Kuerten.
Approximately 15 minutes before the start
So it's been, well, I think not so much treatment now, just a question of reassurance.
The second annual Tim Felixson Spirit Award. This is the 5th anniversary.
Yes, and I suppose the grips become ultra important when you've got finger trouble like that, because naturally you want to be assured of having a really good grip on the racket.
Interesting there, Rudy Berger was asking who was the other gentleman out on the court.
I told you, can you call Doug? Sorry. You said it like
Now,
this.
as you said, Rudy Berger misunderstood what Gustavo was asking for.
Yes, Kuerten pointing out that he had asked for the doctor.
Time.
So further treatment for Kuerten, but it's Henman who has the advantage in this second set. The only break of serve of the match so far, coming in the 5th game. Kuerten sending a racket off, a restringing, so he's obviously not entering his mind to quit this match.
15 love.
But suddenly Henman finding a rich vein of aces, 3 in his last service game, 14 in the match. Could have done with these in the tiebreak. Annoyed with himself, he's not getting this kicker right, he's not getting the ball up, and he's not extending up into it. Oh,
15
my word.
Yes, it's that jackknifing, and as you were saying, he really doesn't hit high enough. He's just collapsing like a pack of cards on it, almost making himself a 5-footer.
30-15.
And in the circumstances, that was a shot really that Kuerten should have made, because he just made sure of getting the first serve in there. Took a lot of speed off, 99 miles an hour. And again, just a moderately paced speed with no real kick in it. It's neither a kicker nor a pacey serve. And as an opponent, you lap these up.
That first serve. Forty 30. Game Henman.
Well, an important hole from Henman, because he's getting a little tight
Henman
on that
leads by
serve
5
again.
games to 3.
It should give him a real boost, because he wasn't playing at his best, and yet he was able to win the game. Might tell him something about Kuerten.
Next to the cameraman. Others under his.
Looking for a missing ball, I think.
$15 love.
Kuerten serving to stay in the set, coming up with his 8th ace.
$30 love. $30-15.
Down the middle, misses little approach.
$40-15.
Just 86 miles an hour, that serve. Yeah, both kicking them in slowly. Oh!
Game Kuerten.
My, nothing slow about that forehand.
Henman leads by 5 games to 4.
5-4 to Henman. He'll serve for the set.
It's in the camera box where he has his camera stand underneath the blue thing.
Frew, we've known ever since he first appeared that he had a great backhand. But as you say, he's worked so much on this forehand. How has he improved it technically, do you think?
Yes, I'm not all that sure. He always had a very good into-out technique, but it was this cross-court forehand, I think, that really used to struggle. Possibly it's a bit more use of the left shoulder and a little less use of the arm. I think it used to be a very untidy shot. It used to be all arm and no body, and I think probably, to my mind anyway, there's just a little more use of that left shoulder. In other words, it's how they used to teach you to play the forehand, with really turning the shoulder towards the opponent. Well, that's how he starts, so he's not as open as he used to be right from the very beginning on the forehand side, and that's given him, I think, more of an option and more control on the cross court. But what he will be happy with is the return of the first serve, because it went AWOL for a while and it cost him a break.
Tim Henman about to serve to try and level this match. First set to Gustavo Kuerten. 13-11 on a first set tiebreak. Now Henman serving at 5-4.
Well, he's been playing these pretty comfortably. He had to play it fairly close to the body, but that's, as a rule, not a problem for Henman. Just 79 miles an hour on the second serve. It was rather inviting. Oh, ball's in.
Well, no, it was called out,
Yeah.
and then the line judge changed his mind. So they're both unhappy.
Yeah.
Well, it looked to me as still catching the back of the line. That's why he corrected his goal.
First serve.
Henman thinks the initial half call was right. Kuerten says, God, I've won the point. Now, what do we reckon?
On the line, I think.
First serve, 50-0. Oh, how
30-50.
unlucky can you get? Because Henman was beaten.
Yes.
These tight nets again. And thinking back to Miami again, I remember the very final point of the match where Kuerten had beaten Sampras with a passing shot, clipped the top of the net and went on beyond the baseline.
40-15.
Got the kicker right that time, Henman, and he has 2 set points. He's done.
Even seconds at Henman.
Henman holds with a 15th ace.
6 games to 4.
It's 1 set all after an hour and 3/4.
The balls need to go down here.
So there we are. Henman kept his nerve. He needed it. Rudy Berger reminding the ball kids that this isn't a change of ends. And clearly no thought in Kuerten's mind of calling it a day because of the finger and losing the second set, which is good.
Well, he seemed to regain the belief or the confidence that he could hit his shots, because he was certainly going for them in that last game. Really, I think was a bit unlucky, but it just shows how easily you can to suffer when you're playing somebody of quality, somebody who's hungry like him. If you just play one little loose game, or if you start dreaming after a full first set. All credit to Henman. He must have been bitterly disappointed about the way that first turned out. Some talented tennis players from this part of the world too played a little bit like Henman. Tony Trabert, who won 3 majors. Every major but the Australian and the French, the Wimbledon and the US Open all in 1 year, and also Billy Talbot, who was an outstanding American player.
30-all.
Just a little bit of frustration for Henman, who would love an early break in this third set. Well, that'll give in a lot of heart to outplay Kuerten from the back of the court.
Well, it's a shot of Henman's that can go off the ball, but certainly when it comes to slicing backhands cross court, I would tend to pick Henman to win the point. And a beautiful bit of wrong footing made this, if not a formality, it never is, but a lot easier.
123 miles an hour for a 10th ace.
He's used that kick serve a lot more sparingly than Henman, but it's been pretty profitable when he has. It's the surprise element, whereas it's no surprise really when Henman does it to him. He's played the more tennis this week, Kuerten. Played 93 games coming into this semi-final as opposed to Henman's 80. But as we've seen at the French, when he's played marathon after marathon, he somehow is able to retain his talent and his good tennis, the Brazilian. There's not a lot of him, but his mind works wondrously well.
Love 15.
Just a superb point from Kuerten. It was a fast serve, a reasonable half volley. How often do we see one net cord followed by another?
Well, I think the tennis is somewhat beautiful in this rally. Really some terrific shots. A little unlucky perhaps. On the other hand, had it been half an inch lower, he wouldn't have got the net cord. I thought it was a brilliant choice of shot by Kuerten, the little drop.
(15-13).
Fast and deep. That serve, 126 miles an hour, must have been onto the line. As Kuerten definitely late on his attempted return. The backhand down the line, two of them in this game, and Kuerten has two break points.
Yes, the half volley of Henman just clipping the top of the net, giving Kuerten just a little more time and playing again down the line, probably assuming that Henman would think he would go cross court.
Just so. (30-40).
Oh, that was wide.
Yeah.
That was wide.
Certainly more wide than in.
Oh, well, just goes to show. I had that well wide, and so did Kuerten, but take my cap off to the centre service judge. Now that one I thought was good. What about you, Fred?
Yeah, I thought it may have got the line. But unlike the other, well, just like the other, more out than in.
Advantage Henman.
He can't be too hard on himself not taking these break points. Looking across at the linesman, gesturing with the hand. I think it's really saying, well, you know, give me a break. It may have been just in, but call it out for heaven's sakes. Still looking down at it.
Yeah, that is on the line.
Advantage Henman.
Well, you can't blame Kuerten just for getting the ball back in play. Not expecting Henman to jump all over the forehand. It's a brilliant shot. Looking at his camp.
Game Henman. 14-3.
So Henman holds from 15-40. That's the second time in the match he's done that.
A man who's been pretty free of injury. Of course, he had as his coach David Felgate, to whom he was just looking for perhaps even congratulations after a couple of shots. He had an elbow problem. He also had broke his ankle, did Henman on court.
One set all, 1-all. Just camp on the down the line, Tim. That's where it's going.
If at first you don't succeed, try and try again.
He's missed a couple of volleys he should have made in this set, which is unlike Henman. Well, this time he was camped covering the down the line.
30-15.
Yes, and after this, of course, the lovely question will be, what shot does Kuerten next play? Does he lob?
Oh,
14-15.
Well, there's the answer. He goes cross court. Wasn't this a smart play by Henman, saying, you know, I'll do to you what you do unto me. What are you going to do with it? And it had to be something special from Kuerten. The reply drop shot, little apology there for the net court.
Oh, foot fault called. It was a fault as well. Beautiful depth on the return of serve.
I was watching Kuerten play Martin yesterday from the side of the court, and it did strike me that he uses every inch of the court with his feet. He's very close to the line, but doesn't often get foot faulted.
And he's upset about that one.
Oh, it was wide. It was wide.
Well, that's the 9 judge, and you probably heard Rudy Berger say it was wide. Well, he's confident.
Yes, Kuerten's mind goes back, of course, to the central service line, just a couple of games.
You see, he's thinking about the call. The one stop that's really dropped him, let him down today, has been the stop volley.
He plays it from too far back. He's not committing himself. Very difficult to bring that shot off from near the service line.
Deuce, 1-all. Maybe a little ambitious, that return of serve. Maybe that was one moment where he should have said, right, Guga's in a little bit of a torment. Get the ball back. Let's see what he does with it.
Game Kuerten.
Took some of the anger out. So all 3 games in this final set have gone to deuce.
Kuerten leads by 2 games to 1.
Little shake of the head as Gustavo Kuerten walks past umpire Berger, but no more than that.
I think the Brazilian motto is something like Ordem é progresso, from order comes progress, and the supporters of Kuerten here today have been really very well ordered. They can sometimes really lose their shirts, but unfortunately they're all keeping them on.
Through. I was expecting a little remark about that.
Well, what I mean is they're just not getting carried away. Sometimes they really entertain. But the tennis, mind you, has been entertaining enough.
Absolutely. Looks like a change of racket for Gustavo Kuerten. Maybe thinking the tension going off on the other one. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. That one isn't to his liking. Tim Henman, as always, fiddling with the strings of his racket. Well, this semi-final really has been intriguing. I mean, everyone is enjoying it. Enjoying the sunshine. Beautiful day for watching tennis, for playing tennis. And I hope wherever you are, for sitting down and enjoying it. Suddenly into this down the line mode, isn't he?
Yes, and very direct and very accurate. The backhand winners have far exceeded the forehand, but that's chiefly because Henman's been playing so much more to that side. And a bit of daring then by Henman, having just seen a forehand whip past him, to go there again.
14-15.
Second serve right onto the service line. And the first comfortable service game for either man in this third set.
Henman was talking about the big day of his life, getting married to Lucy in December. They actually went on holiday to South Africa, a game park called Sengita, which he recommends to anybody. Kuerten maintains that if he has such a holiday, I don't know whether he'd take a honeymoon there. He'd go to places like Biarritz and Costa Rica. It's got to have sea, like Florianopolis.
13.
Preferably surf to go with it.
Yes.
And Biarritz, the great French Atlantic coast surfing resort. A first love service game of the match for Gustavo Kuerten.
Kuerten leads by 3 games to 2.
And his lead is 3-2 in the final set. Guga, of course, undoubtedly the man of the inaugural Tennis Masters Series year. He ought to really have a trophy, shouldn't we, for the man of the series? And it is remarkable that as a man who's winning Grand Slams as well, who is able to produce in the Masters Series the same form as the Slams, whereas one of the two of the others aren't doing that.
Yes, and I mean, I suppose we automatically think of those who have achieved even more than Kuerten has at majors, and people like Agassi and Sampras, although Sampras did win. But Kafelnikov, I suppose, is one who comes to mind, who's never yet won one of these, and yet his younger compatriot, of course, Marat Safin, took them apart last week in Toronto.
Gustavo Kuerten, the 4th seed, leads the 15th seed Tim Henman, 3-2 on serve in the third and final set. The opening semi-final in Cincinnati. Don't forget tonight, starting at 6:30 local time here, it will be Arnaud Clément against Thomas Enquist, although with this match going 2 hours and 6 minutes and a doubles to come this afternoon, double semi-final to come, who knows, we might be a little late with that second semi-final. But we'll be with you at 6:30 local time here, whatever happens. Now, something disturbing Henman, some movement.
Yes, the doubles semi-finalists, incidentally, Novak and Riekl, Ferreira and Leach, and it's Ellis Ferreira of South Africa, and Leroux, Nestor, the Canadians, and then a pair on the top there. I haven't heard of them before. Can't quite. Woodbridge and Woodford, new names to me.
Yes, Frew's got a grudge against the Woodies because they've taken away the record, haven't they, for the most number of titles won in the Open era, which Frew and Bob Hewitt used to share with John McEnroe and Peter Fleming.
13-15.
Well, it's about the first time that the theory that Kuerten struggles on a backhand high has actually borne fruit. Yes, right onto the line. Beautiful shot.
Well, beautifully constructed. I thought Henman may have been onto something with a good slice down to the forehand, but Kuerten just directing things like a conductor. This instrument, that instrument, this side of the court, that side of the court, so the winners increase.
That's a wonderful number of winners in this set from Kuerten. And that's a very clever volley from Henman.
An unusual shot from Kuerten, really stiffening the wrist, head of the racket up, just pushing it back. The technique of a volley. It's a shot that can waver, but it's looked really pretty secure today. Of course, it needs to be. He uses it so much. Such a useful technique, of course, because you can play the drop shot, you can play the defensive lob. The volley is the same.
Advantage Henman.
Big points these when you're behind in a set. You know that the opponent can really jump out to a lead. A big lead.
Game Henman.
Got that kicker right.
3 games.
Tim Henman hasn't lost his serve now since the first round, has he? Oh, yes, he did. The first game of the match against Sampras. That's the last time he dropped his serve. Well, terrific serving in this set so far from Kuerten, 67%.
Matched by Henman, 66, 65. And, both outstanding.
It's wide. Yet again, the stop volley. And that time he was closer in, but still didn't make it. Clever from Henman. He had a manufacturer return, and it was by chance short, and he saw that Kuerten was not really moving up to the ball. So he's almost into the net 100 times in this match.
30-all.
Yeah. Late call of out, but overruled by the umpire and dead right.
When it's hitting the line, it's a mistake. When it's hitting the line, it's a mistake. Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, Rudy Berger saying it hit the line, and he was absolutely right.
30.
Well, he was waiting to see, and although it hadn't been hit all that hard by Kuerten, he just had enough control, enough top on it. It sort of wrenched a volley from Henman.
Game Kuerten. Kuerten leads by 4 games to 3.
Keeps his nose in front, Gustavo Kuerten, 4-3.
Mercedes Benz now offers 3 limited production high performance AMG models.
I'm going to train Providence here and say that looking back through Henman's year, he's lost the really tight matches this year. Philippoussis at Wimbledon, 5 sets, Vicente in the French Open, 5 sets, Agassi, final set tie break in Miami.
Yes, I think that's right. I think he has come close, and this is where I think that win over Sampras might just make a little bit of a difference. He could lose it. Of course, he's playing a class player, and it may have nothing to do with the fact that he is losing all these tight matches. It just may so transpire that Kuerten is a better player on the day. We will see. But I just have the feeling that he's got a little bit more in him, and who knows, if he had not beaten Sampras, he may not have won the second set quite as he did.
Well, they've been on court for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and 2 hours and a quarter has just flown by because it's been fascinating from first moment to the current moment, and who knows what the last moment will be. And just look at that. The match update. Both of them far more winners than unforced errors. Kuerten's first serve percentage coming up as we go through the match. 3-4, Henman serving, final set. Ooh. That was a good call. Rudy Berger saying impossible to tell from his position.
30-15.
Well, it wasn't one of those horror doubles. Very close, and he stood up in the serve.
7th double, first of this set. Guessed right, but couldn't control it. Rolls reversed, and Henman having further words with Berger. Oh, it's all bubbling up nicely.
40-15.
Yes, well, it's at least good for Henman to discuss further, having won the point, rather than lost. Otherwise, it would look a bit more like bitterness.
Game Henman. 4 games sold.
Well, at the moment, I suppose the money would have to be on a final set tiebreak to decide this one. I tell you, if it's anything like the first set tiebreak with 13-11, that'll certainly be a dramatic end to a fascinating match.
Well, I don't think fitness will come into question because it's a glorious day for tennis. There's just enough coolness in the air to refresh. He'd normally put up a very high defensive lob in that situation, but obviously just thought he'd have a huge swing. Kuerten played the more tennis, as I pointed out earlier this week, 13 more games than Henman.
Well, he framed the second volley, but Kuerten thought he'd lost the point. If he hadn't, he would have had a nice, easy shot.
30-15.
Yes, that's the respect that he has for the Henman volley. He thought, well, he's there. He's obviously going to put this away, a little realizing that the easier volley, Henman should actually just hit and miscalculate.
Henman thought that was long.
He thought it was in.
Looks like he's touching the back of the line from here.
40-15.
I'm just telling you what it looks.
Well in. It's at a 13th ace. So now we come to the stage of the match where it really matters to have served first. 5-4. When you got to the situation that Kuerten was in, did you think, well, the guy saved the match, I can go for my shots that much more?
I think Kuerten is in that happy position. It's just what I was thinking about, the fact that here's a man who's won these tournaments, who's won majors. He may not quite have the hunger that Henman has, the desire to do well. On the other hand, he has perhaps a little bit more freedom because he's done it, because he knows he can do it, and also because he'll just feel that he can hit out and perhaps take a few more risks. And as we see with these players of this ability, because they've got the technique, when they take risks, they tend to bring them off. Now Henman's got to continue to tell himself to go for his shots. He doesn't want to start playing tentative tennis. He has got to have real belief, which I think he has. He's got the talent, he's got the strength, he's worked hard, he's got the physique to do it.
We're down to the sharp end of the first semi-final. Tim Henman must serve to stay in the match. 4-5. He hasn't lost his serve all match. Got the only break in the second set. It's a subtle change, but he is coming in rather more to the forehand now. Doug's Breen, the trainer, well, he's never been far away from this. Of course, the nice thing now, the play is solely on the centre court, so he doesn't have to worry about other players on other courts.
13.
Kuerten's forehand winners still trailing those backhand winners because of the early emphasis on the backhand side.
Well, suddenly the forehand looking like the forehand of old. Harry Passos thinking, well, I better work on that next time we get a practice session. Henman's third love service game of the match.
5 games.
And I'll tell you one thing, which is pretty apparent now, unless we have Kuerten winning the next 2 games to love. Well, even if that happens, Henman's going to win more points in this match, whatever happens, whether he wins or loses, because he's now won 9 more points than Kuerten.
Yes, each has lost 9 points in his serve in this set, so it really is pretty even here.
Well, he was surprised by the serve coming right at him.
Yes, he actually had to play, I think, a two-handed return to Henman. Almost looked like Fabrice Santoro, perhaps having beaten Santoro, he'd learnt that skill.
Kuerten answers Henman's love service game with one of his own. And the Brazilian knows he's into a tiebreak at worst. Certainly add colour.
Don't forget to visit the 2001 ticket sales booth at the main entrance.
And they've become so much more of a feature of tennis, of course, haven't they, the Brazilians, because he's the outstanding man. Maria Bueno before him, but she's long since left the tennis scene.
Yeah, no flag-waving Brits here. It's a long way to come.
We had some earlier, some chaps in I think during the Santoro match who were very vocal for Henman.
Asking for water. I think we're going to have a new set of tennis balls as well, aren't we, at this stage in the match? When you are serving to stay in the match, get the first serve in?
Well, you still want to go for it, though. If you've got Henman's sort of serve, you want to try and keep it all together, but if you do take the pace off fractionally, particularly against somebody who likes Kuerten.
Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this match as much as we have here. It's been a cracker. And Henman coming out to serve to try and force a final set tiebreak. Forget the second semi-final this evening. He's just asking Rudy Berger if it is new balls. It is new balls. Thomas Enquist against Arnaud Clément.
It's not hitting this well at all, Kuerten. But forehand has deserted him for the while.
Henman wants that ball back.
This can only be due. Maybe he thinks it's a little soft, but the only British player to reach the final here, Mark Cox, in 1977.
Superb judgment by Henman.
Cox beaten by Harold Solomon.
That must have been in the clay court days, was it?
Probably yes, I would think so.
Just wide. You thought that might have caught the line.
Yeah, second thoughts really.
What are we seeing?
More out than in.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my gut reaction of just wide. Mind you, I suppose I could be accused of wearing British blinkers. No doubt about that one. A 16th ace, 17th ace for Tim Henman. And we'll go to a final set tiebreak. And one thing I'm sure Henman is saying to himself now is no double faults. 3 double faults from Henman in the first set tiebreak really handicapped him. The two coaches, well, what is going through their minds? Well, talking of double faults, that's only Kuerten's third of the match, but it gives Henman an immediate advantage.
And Henman, I think his last tiebreak in the final set was that tiebreaker against Agassi in Miami, whereas of course Kuerten played one yesterday. Beat Todd Martin.
Well, I always feel, Free, that if you get 3 low up in a tiebreak, it's only 1 point against the serve, but it seems such a big lead.
Yeah, particularly for the opposition. It's a huge deficit.
Kuerten must win these 2 points on his serve. And that's long. Well, surely now, with 3 mini breaks, Tim Henman on the verge of his first Masters Series final.
Very tentative second serve by Kuerten, just 88 and very short, but of course he didn't want a double fault.
Thank you.
Six match points. Of course, the remarkable thing yesterday, Kuerten also played 2 tie breaks, and he lost the other one 7-0 in the first set against Martin. David Felgate, well, yes, for once, a bit of a smile. The only time he normally smiles is when his beloved Arsenal win. He wins the tiebreak, 7 points to love. And the reaction tells you just what that means for Henman. It's been a breakthrough week for the British #1, a first win over Sampras, and now a first appearance in a Masters Series final.
Well, a brilliant display. What a wonderful tiebreaker by Tim Henman. If you had any doubts about his ability to handle himself, having played quite disastrously perhaps in the first set tiebreak, well, I say disastrously with double faulting, but he did after all have set points there. Just sterling stuff.
Well, we're going to hear now from the man who's through to the final, Tim Henman. He is talking with our colleague Chris Bailey.
Tim, you've just beaten on form the best player in the world this year. That must feel out of this world.
Yeah, it's great. It's really satisfying. I knew coming into the match I was playing well, and I knew I was up against a tough opponent, and such a close match. I obviously had my chances in the first set. I couldn't take them, but I wasn't going to get frustrated with that because I thought I was playing so well, and the serving was the key. I struggled in the first set, obviously, with my second serve, and then I just found more of a technical thing that helped me out, and you know, I served really well today, and not dropping my serve is great for the confidence.
Were you aware that he may not have even started today's semi-final? We were hearing that the blister on his hand was so bad that he may not even play.
I heard that about 15 seconds before we walked on. I said, what's all this? And then David said, well, there's been a rumour going around that he might not play, and I was like, well, he looks pretty ready to me, so I wasn't going to concentrate on that. I was going to worry about my own game, and that's exactly what I did.
And the kick serve that your coach David Felgate talked about beforehand, about going to Kuerten's backhand, you were happy with the way that went?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't lose your serve in 3 sets and 2 of them are tie breaks, you can't have too many complaints. My second serve wasn't great today, but that's something to go away and work on, and I'll do exactly that.
Now, looking forward to tomorrow's final, anything in your game that you're not that happy with and you'll go away and try and improve on before tomorrow?
Perhaps my second serve. I mean, when it's this hot and the balls are as bouncy as they are, it's tough to control, and you have to accept that you're going to serve a few double faults, and you know, I didn't dwell on that. I put it out of my mind, and you come to a third set breaker to win at 7-love is it's a nice feeling.
Would you feel that this, the last couple of results you had, Sampras, Kuerten, this could be a new stage of your career right now?
It's a continuation. I said that at the end of last year rather, was going to be a very critical and important time, and I had to go away and work on things, and I've done that. And the first 6 months have been solid, as I said, but nothing spectacular. And you know, I felt like I was on the verge of having some good results, and this is proof.
Now we're live right now in the UK. Anything you'd like to say to your friends and maybe your family's watching back home?
Yeah, no, I think my family are on holiday, so I don't know if they're able to watch, but you know, hopefully they can keep watching, keep supporting me, and I can give them something worth watching.
Thanks, Tim, and let's hope we talk again with you tomorrow.
Thanks, Chris.
So Tim Henman is through, winning on a final set tiebreak, and now awaiting the winner of tonight's match between Arnaud Clément and Thomas Enquist, and he has a winning record against both those players, so he will certainly go into the match full of confidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, now leading center court for English and
Thank you.
Now, I love those balls. I see Vince Spadia's signature on one of those yellow balls. And many others, and Tim Henman's joining it. Of course, his fellow Brit, Greg Rosetsky, has won a Masters Series title in Paris a couple of years back. And Tim would love to join him. It's one title that has eluded him. And of course, through a chance now to lay the bogey, he's lost his last 6 finals.
Well, I think he's done splendidly, and I do believe that match against Sampras, even though Sampras has not been in his best form, it's such a hurdle to overcome when you've beaten the player of the last 10 years, somebody you have never beaten before. And I think it just gave him that extra little bit of confidence late in the match against Kuerten. He served outstandingly well. I mean, not to lose your serve against somebody like Kuerten takes some doing. And whoever he plays in the final, particularly Enquist, should it be Enquist, he'll need similar sort of serving.
So Tim Henman departs, and we will have a look at the match statistics. And Henman will love the fact that once again his first serve percentage well over 66%. He can now rationalize the double faults, but look at the quality of the match. 27 unforced errors each, but between them they came up with 97 winners, and crucially, of course, Henman the only man to break